The game currently feels heavily skewed toward PvP players, leaving PvE players with little to no counterplay. Not trusting anyone shouldn't be the only form of defense a PvE player has, because that just turns the game into a typical battle royale where everyone shoots on sight. How are players supposed to participate in a major event like killing the queen or harvester if betrayal is inevitable? For those who genuinely enjoy the PvE aspect, what is the incentive for to keep playing? If the game continues in this direction, it risks losing its identity as a PvE experience and becoming just another PvP shooter. No, it doesn't. Okay. First of all, PvE players do have tons of counterplay, right? They have tons of counterplay. Like the first and foremost is stop spamming the don't shoot emote anytime you hear footsteps pitter-pattering around you, because if you don't want to be attacked by a PvP player, don't let them know that you're around. You can crouch, you can crouch walk to make your footsteps much less audible, right? You don't want to sprint around and run around if you hear people near you and you don't want to deal with people and you're not sure. Don't let them hear you to let them know that you're near them, right? That's part of how these games play. You sneak around. It doesn't become a PvP. It doesn't become a straight up PvP game just because you have the ability to backstab somebody or just kill people and take their stuff. It does not make it that way. This game will end up balancing out. And right now, tonight, it's like, it feels like it's kind of a little more balanced now, where before, all of the solos, everything in solos was so comfortable that it made it feel like there was nothing to be afraid of. And that's not great, because I guess that's its identity, but it's like, okay, I go into a map solo and I play solo all the time, and do I want to fight all the time? No. Do I want to fight sometimes? Yes. Do I want some action? Yeah, sure. But it's like, I don't want it to be, oh, I'm gonna go into a map and literally no one fights. No one fights. It's like, you literally don't have to be afraid of anything, or at least you didn't have to be afraid of anything, because no one wanted to fight. Everybody's, don't shoot, I'm cool, don't shoot. And it's just like, there's a time and a place for that, right? There's a time and a place. So I came in here because I was like looking at like the gunsmith stuff. First of all, to defend yourself, you have guns, right? Like, so you have guns, you could shoot back. Some people will literally, if you shoot at them, they won't even try to shoot back. They'll just run. They won't use cover, right? They don't use the fact that, you know, they try to be a little bit more sneaky, try to be a little more stealthy, you know what I'm saying? And sneak around and not allow people to even know you're there, because that's your biggest defense, right? And then your second defense is, if they see you, then you can use, you know, proximity chat and be like, hey, you know, I'm chilling, I'm looking for loot, doing whatever. If then they start shooting it, because you got to be on guard, right? You got to be on guard. You might be aiming at the guy. Look, listen, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm just trying to find this thing for my mission. And like, if they don't let you finish your sentence, or they start shooting at you, then you start shooting at them, and you take a position so that when you see somebody coming, and then, you know, if they're looking for a fight and you see them start to shoot, it's like, yo, I'm good, I'm cool. If they start shooting, you take cover, you peek out, you start shooting them. You use tactics to try to stay alive. It's a survival style game. Like PvE, VP, extraction shooters also have a component of survival. You want to survive. You don't want to just go into the map and just not have to worry about anything, where it's just like, oh, you know, I'll just dodge the bots and I don't have to worry about any players. Like, that doesn't make the game necessarily fun. Maybe it's fun for some people, but like I said, and again, we're not gonna please everyone. But the problem is that people come into the game expecting that everybody is going to be happy-go-lucky, sunshine and rainbows, right? Like, and it's just like, no, that's not what this is. It is a PvEVP shooter. So, and you have to get loot. There's better weapons. You have to weigh your options, right? And if everybody turns to be, I don't think everybody will ever be shoot on sight, right? If everybody is shoot on sight, then that probably means that all the PvE players left because they were just too scared to play the game. They were too scared to get better at how they move around the map. They were too scared to get better at how they approach enemies, or how they approach getting loot, how they approach, or how they, how they move around. Like, don't run out in the open. Don't run out in the open. Keep your ears, open for sounds and hearing what's going on around you. Like, if you do that, then you'll have a better time at not having to worry about fighting people. I used to play the Cycle Frontier, and in that game, it was pretty much shoot on sight. Plus, it's like if you were a solo, you were in a match with maybe other solos, other duos, trios, whatever, but you wouldn't really know, because the only people that were making a lot of noise and running around were the people who were on teams. Just like in this game, in the beginning, and probably like in Tarkov or any of these extraction shooter games, when you're playing as a team, you tend to make more noise because you're not really worried about it too much, because it's like, all right, I got two people with me, or I got at least somebody to watch my back. So like, if somebody does start shooting at me, and I need to take cover, my friend or my two friends will cover for me while I get my shield back, while I heal up, right? And then they'll cover fire for me or whatever, right? So you tend to not care about making a lot of noise when you're in a team, which is why in teams and in trios and stuff, you get more fights. Like, people just want to fight, because it's just like, all right, well, I'm gonna shoot this guy, I'm not gonna take him down easily, and they're gonna start shooting back, so let's fight, right? But in solos, in this game specifically, I don't know why, but like, everybody just became so friendly, so overly friendly with everybody. Like, oh, don't shoot, oh, I'm cool, I'm just hanging around, what's up, guy? And it's like, that was cool for a few minutes, or in an interesting cultural shift to a game that has the ability to snake people out. And then you had people like me who was like, I'm really not trying to shoot people, because it was literally like, if you shoot somebody, it was like they were begging for their life. They were begging for their life, like, please, no, don't shoot, no, don't do it, man, come on, man, we was on a free loadout, dog. And it's just like, all right, well, I mean, it is what it is. But then there also, randomly, let's thought about this, there are some people that think that because you snake people in a video game, that you would snake people in real life. Now, maybe it's partly true, right? Maybe if you do it easily, super easily in game, maybe you're more likely to do it in real life. But I don't really think there's that much of a correlation between somebody wanting to play a PvP game and kill the people that they see on the map and take their resources and use their resources for their own gain, right? Because that's part of the game. That's part of an extraction shooter. The part of the extraction shooter is getting in, getting loot, and then trying to extract with it without dying. Like, that's the point of the game, right? It's not to go in, collect things, and then just give everybody a thumbs up and then just get out easily. Now, granted, you're probably gonna most of the time get out easily, because it just doesn't make sense to it doesn't make sense to outright kill people at the extract point, because you can't there's in certain situations that come up with the extraction points with the PvE, while you're fighting somebody, and then there's PvE enemies, and then there's the lift or whatever is open. It's like, so are you gonna kill the guy and then sit there and loot his body in your menus while you're waiting for the thing to reveal all the stuff that was in his bag, while there might be PvE enemies around you, and then maybe other people that heard they heard the thing, the lift come up, and they're on their way over there, and they see you looting the body when they get over there, and they just start opening fire on you, and you're in your menu looting this body, right? Like, it's not really worth it. And then you end up dying, then they pick your bones and the other guy's bones, and then they have the lift there and they extract, and they took both of your stuff because you decided to kill the one guy, and then you had to either deal with players or PvE enemies. Like, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's more risky to do that at the extraction, right? But if you're out in the world in a building somewhere, and you know there's cover, there's darkness, there's whatever, you can use darkness as defense, you can use darkness as offense, you can use all these different things on the map to your advantage, whether you want to be a PvE player that doesn't deal with anybody else, or if you want to be a PvP player that hunts people down and takes their things. But regardless of how it is, it's how the game is. Like, I don't understand how you could come into a game like this and then be mad when you die and get your things stolen, and then really be asking the person, why'd you do it, man? Why'd you do it? Right? Unless it was like at the extraction point, or while you were being attacked by like 3 or 4 robots or whatever, and then like they kill, and then the dude kills you instead of helping you kill the robots. It would be a smarter option to help you kill the robots and then backstab you, kill you, take your stuff. But people don't put their priorities in order, and then they kill the guy that's getting attacked by all the robots, and then they're like, and then all the robots turn on that guy, and then he's like, maybe that was a bad idea, right? Like, maybe that wasn't good. Literally, this happened the other day. It was me and it was somebody else in solos, and I was trying to kill a leaper, and so I was sitting there shooting the leaper. I was in one of the hut, like the dome facility huts or whatever, and I'm using that as cover to fight the leaper, and there's a couple of hornets and wasps around. I'm shooting the wasps. Somebody else comes and helps me shoot the wasps and stuff right there, right? Some other guy comes in, shoots the person that was helping me, and downs them. I don't have a defib. I can't pick the person up, so I'm just like running around trying to get rid of the hornet that's in the building now with the leaper outside. And then I see the person get downed, and then I go chase that guy and I shoot at him because he shot the person that was helping me, right? So then, instead of having to deal with him, the leaper jumps on that guy, crushes him in a bush, and then he dies. I'm just like, what an idiot, right? So then I continue killing the leaper. Some other guy comes because we can't lift the person up off the ground, right? We can't pick the person up. So he comes and he was like, do you want her loot? And I was like, I guess. So I was like, whatever. I mean, I don't need it. I got this stuff from the leaper. And then so he took her loot because he was gonna come and try to help her, but he was like, well, she's dead now, so I guess I'll take her loot. And I was like, all right, man, help yourself. And then I go over to the leaper, I grab all the stuff from the leaper, and then I walk over to the bush where the guy got jumped on, and he's sitting there in the bush dead. So I took all of his stuff. He had so much stuff, and he risked a full bag of stuff to kill somebody that was fighting PvE enemies, and then he died for it and got his stuff taken. And then I killed the leaper, that guy got killed, I took his stuff, and then me and the other guy went our separate ways. I extracted, and you know what I'm saying, like, if you have a tactical mind about how to play the game rather than just throwing your hands up or running away when somebody starts shooting and then being mad and then being like, oh, this game sucks because people attack me in a game that has PvP in it. I just want to play PvE in this game that was created with both in mind, and makes you have to think about your decisions and how you approach people and how you approach the PvE and how you deal with all these things, right? But instead, people just want to walk around for free, pick stuff up and leave, jump in, walk around for free, pick up stuff and leave, and never have to worry about getting shot ever in a game that has PvP in it. It's crazy. How am I liking the Azeron? I got one recently, new to PC gaming. I love the Azeron. I've been using the Azeron for like 3 years now. I have 3 of them because I keep upgrading. I haven't gotten the keys in yet, but I have a partnership with them too, so that's another thing. But I have a partnership with them because I like the Azeron, because I bought mine first and then whatever. That's a whole nother story. But let me continue to look at. I came here to talk about the defenses that you have to not have to deal with other players. So before I go on to the next portion of that long comment, let me talk about some of the things that you have. Like, I don't have access to all the items, right? But you have ways to defend yourself against stuff if you don't want to actually like fight directly, and you want to kind of like be able to dodge and get around and get away from people. Being quiet is a main thing. Being mindful of how you move around the map is another thing, right? Don't be loud and running around in the middle of the map and expect to not get shot, right? Using the right types of augments, right? Like using this one restores health when you're not in combat. You know, using maybe medium shields to be able to survive a little bit longer, or heavy shields to survive a little bit longer if you don't want to PvP people, but you do want to like turn around, take some shots back at them, and hopefully maybe put them down before they can put you down, right? But like, if we're not talking about offensive things or whatever, you have hatch keys, which make it so you never have to go. Like, if you unlock hatch keys and you're able to make them, you never have to go to the lift hatch to call it and then wait for it and then worry about people knowing that you called it. You can get the hatch key, and if you have some really good stuff and you don't want to deal with maybe getting shot at the extract, go to a hatch and just crawl down the hatch quietly and never having to worry about that, right? You have door blockers, which I've not seen people really use at all. Door blockers, you could put them, you can be in a place where you're looting and like there's an exit, or there's a place where like you came from and you're like, oh, you know, let me put this door blocker on here. So now they have to break through the door in order to be able to get through the door, right? They can't just open the door and run in. You have a door blocker on it, right? I'm not even sure if you can break it like a regular breach thing or not. I'm not sure, but you can use a door blocker to slow people down from being able to chase you. You run in, turn around, throw a door blocker on the door or something like that. I don't know how long it takes or how it works. You have lure grenades, right? So if somebody starts to try to attack you and there are enemies around you, right? You can take those you could take a lure grenade and throw a lure grenade over in their direction. The arc enemies are gonna go towards them, and you can run away while they have to deal with the arc enemies, right? That's another way, right? You have binoculars. Now, I don't know if anybody actually uses these binoculars, but you can use them, find out, just, you know, look, scout the area and see where people are. Who knows how useful that is, right? I don't know. So then you've got adrenaline shots so that you can outrun people and get away from them. If you wanna run, you can just take a whole bunch of these adrenaline shots with you. They're easy to make, and then you can just make sure you'll always have stamina, and people won't be able to keep up with you while they're chasing you, because I don't think people carry that many things with them. And if it's like a PvP player trying to chase you down, I don't think that they're bringing stamina shots in and repeatedly stabbing themselves with stamina shots trying to catch up with you. Maybe some of them are, who knows, right? Make sure you're carrying shield rechargers, make better shield rechargers, make sure you have if you can have better bandages and stuff like that, so you have ways to heal up if somebody's hitting you and you're trying to get away from them, right? There's definitely ways for you to deal with stuff. There's explosives. I don't have them here, but you can get like explosive, probably the blueprints for them, or just get them from, you know, in the map and looting them. You can get mines, or you can buy them too. You can buy them, and you can buy the mines, right? And you can make sure that you can set them down beside doors when you're looting, like the jolt mines. I know there's other mines that you can do. You can use noise makers to like disorient your enemies, like disorient them, like as in throw it somewhere. And I think that it sounds like a gun. I haven't gotten a chance to test it out yet, but if it's what I think it is, you can throw them and then it'll sound like somebody is shooting at them or shooting in a certain direction, and then you can run the other way. So like if you see somebody or whatever and you're like, oh, I gotta pass these guys, but I don't know if they'll shoot me or not, you can take the noisemaker, throw it all the way in the opposite direction of where you're going, right? And if they're PvP players, right, they'll probably run toward it, right? If they are like PvE players that don't want to deal with people, they'll run away from it. So you can kind of gauge what they do based on where you throw the noisemaker thing at, right? So like there's another thing. You got to think about how to use this type of stuff, right?
Come on.
What else do we have here? This is the gun chick. The hatch keys, we talked about the hatch keys. There's a lot of stuff here where if you just make sure you're getting all your seeds from just playing matches over and over and over and over again, then you'll have a bunch of seeds, and then you can buy stuff from here that you may not have picked up or can't find in the map, or stuff that's hard to find, whatever. There's ways for you to get around and do stuff as a PvE player that doesn't want to deal with PvP. You just have to think about how you want to approach moving around. Like, don't just go in there and run around all willy-nilly and expect something not to happen to you. Like, that's not what type of game it is. Like, it's just weird to me. Like, it's like playing Fortnite, right? It's like playing Fortnite and you're trying to do your missions and you expect no one to touch you, right? So that you can finish your missions. It's like, oh, I'm doing a mission. It's fine that if people do that and they team up and they're doing missions and they're like, oh, don't shoot me. But you can't really do that because there's no proximity chat in Fortnite. But like, if you do it in Warzone, right? In Warzone, you're trying to do a PvE mission in Warzone. I don't even know if they have those in Warzone, but they say they have a PvE mission in Warzone. They got proximity chat. Everybody is shoot on sight in Warzone, right? Shoot on sight. But maybe possibly if you get on proximity chat and be like, oh, hey man, wait, hold on, wait, slow down. Like, I'm trying to do this mission. You want to do this mission with me? If we could just get it done real quick, we got to go fight this PvE. Maybe somebody helps you. Maybe, right? Who knows? But like to expect that no one should be shooting you because they should be nice to you in this video game is crazy. Like, you need to be on guard. You need to stay vigilant, even when you're running with somebody else who befriended you and you're like, oh yeah, we're running around the map doing our stuff together. Be always on guard, because that person could literally have you carry all the stuff back, and then he'll pop one in the back of your head and off you, and then be like, yeah, I needed this item, and then extract, and then now you're hurt, right? Like, I know what that feels like, because in Cycle Frontier, right? In the Cycle Frontier was the first time I got stabbed in the back. I ran with this guy in solos, and we ran across the map, doing stuff, in the map or whatever, gathering loot and whatnot, and then for no reason, he just puts one in the back of my head, and then from then on, I was just like, wow, I really can't trust nobody. But that's how you're supposed to play extraction shooter. You're supposed to play with an air of like caution. It's a dog eat dog world out here. It's not a happy-go-lucky time in this place. Do I like this game? I love this game. This game is super fun. I'm talking about how other people are not enjoying the game because they're mad that people will shoot them and take their stuff. Like, that's what I'm talking about, because somebody left a long comment, and that's what I'm talking about right now. So I just went over this first part. So then he says, the issue I see is that PvP's focused players have it much simpler. Shoot the other raiders, camp extractions, or ambush players mid-quest. Like you mentioned, they can mostly avoid arc encounters altogether. Meanwhile, PvE players have to focus on completing quests and constantly watch their backs for PvP players. The imbalance makes the game feel punishing for anyone who isn't there just to fight other players. No, this is also not correct. PvE players are focusing on doing quests and getting loot, So are PvP players. People who are PvP, they don't just go around and only kill players. They got to do missions too. That's how they get their money. That's how they get the ability to level their character up. That's how they get the ability to get more guns, find blueprints so they can build guns so they can take them out and PvP people, right? Like that's what they're doing, except that the PvE people are just trying to ignore PvP altogether, when if they don't want to PvP, that's fine, right? But you have to move around the map as if somebody is always trying to kill you. That's how this works. That's how it works. You have to move around carefully and not get into a situation where you have to PvP, right? You try not to. So you sneak around, you hide in dark corners, right? You hear somebody coming, you stay still, you duck behind something, you try to listen out to see if they're coming through the door, and sometimes you're gonna have to take the shots. Sometimes you're gonna have to take the shots so that that person doesn't get the jump on you, right? If you take the first shots, right? This was my rules, right? This is my rules. And it's not really working all that great because I don't want to shoot people most of the time if I'm doing something, if I'm focused on doing something. But I'm trying to change that, because if you don't want to shoot the first shots, it's like you can aim at them and then just see what they do. If they start aiming at you, if they go to fire, then you got to fire back. If they shoot you first, you have to fight back. But if you're aiming at them and then the guy goes, "Hey man, like I'm chilling" or whatever, then you can do that, but only if he sees where you are. People are giving away their position in a place where you should be acting more stealthy if you want to avoid PvP. I don't think solo queues are the answer, but I do believe arc should be more threatening and more reactive to combat. If there are high contested areas with constant gunfire, there should be arc swarming the location. In most cases, there are arc swarming the locations of most places, and usually where there's arc, people are not gonna PvP you, right? If somebody PvPs you in a place where there's arc, then they probably aren't that smart, because they don't want the arc to turn on them after, like, while they're trying to shoot at somebody else. Now they have to worry about the person they're shooting at and the arc. The smarter play is to kill the arc first and whoever is there will probably help kill the arc, and then if you want to backstab him after that, then you do that. But in most cases, that's not usually what happens. And then sometimes, like, you'll be in a place where there's arc and it's like, I'm just gonna shoot these arc because I don't want to deal with them. And sometimes people can't shoot the arc because you might have a level 1 Pharaoh on a free, right? On a free loadout. And then you try to shoot one of the arc down, and now you gotta wait for your gun to rechamber. And if it's 2 wasps and you shoot at them with a level 1 Pharaoh and that's all you got on a free, you might be cooked. If there's nowhere for you to hide, you might be just cooked. Like, especially if you out in the open. And don't let a hornet and 2 wasps patrolling around see you on a free loadout. It's not gonna be good for you, right? It's not gonna be good for you. Think of it like this: loot is universal, man. You have it, and then it's someone else's turn. That's true, but I'm talking about it more deeply because there are people who want the game to be PvE only, or they want a mode where there's PvE only, and that would, in adding a mode like that, would ruin the game altogether. Like, it would ruin the lightning in a bottle special feeling that this game has, that this game is pushing people in these different moral directions. It would lose that. And people are talking about, like, leaving the game. It's like, dog, don't leave the game because somebody shot you and took your stuff. Learn how to not be seen. Like, that's what I'm saying. Learn how to not be seen, and you won't have to deal with that, or you'll deal with it much less. And it gets to be much more rewarding when you get out of a place with the loot that you have, because you were able to sneak around and get around without being seen by other players. and also while maybe defending yourself when somebody attacks you and you win the fight, and then you still move around and not go look for fights, but you defend yourself from fights and win those fights. Everybody's not going to win the fights, but I want people to be a little more cautious with how they play the game, even if most of the time people are friendly. Be a little bit more cautious, because when you run into somebody who's not friendly, then you're cooked. Literally tonight, the first time of tonight I was on, because I heard people saying that, oh, it's not friendly anymore in solos, which is not true. It just did change. The amount of people that shoot on sight have changed, right? But it's not completely friendly, and I'm fine with that. I don't want it to be completely friendly, and I don't want it to be completely PvP all the time, shoot on sight. If that, like, but I do want there to be a little bit of action, you know? So I don't feel so bad when I do shoot somebody on sight when I decide to, because it's like, oh, this guy is running out in the open. He deserves to be shot. And like, I do it too. I be running out in the open sometimes, but it's like, it's because I don't have a reason to not do that, right? I run around with confidence because I don't have any reason not to. I'm doing that less so now, because if I hear people running around, I'm like, all right, let me duck down behind here. And I'm getting to the point where if I see somebody before they see me, I do want to take the shots, right? I do want to take the shots, because if I go by, if I see them and then I give them a chance to shoot me first, then I'm probably going to lose the fight. So if I shoot first and they go stop or run away, then it's better for me to shoot first rather than see if they shoot me first. You know what I'm saying? Because if I get the leg up on them, then they're already weak before they get a chance to hit me. So now they're starting off at a deficit. But if I let them shoot me first, now I'm starting off at a deficit, because I was like, let me see what they going to do. But that's probably why people started shooting first. But then the thing is, if I shoot somebody and they don't return fire and they say like, oh no, wait, then I probably will chill. I probably will. But if they return fire, we fighting. Yeah, of course. The loot is made for people to, the game is created in a way, like extraction shooters, they are based on you having to try to get out with the loot that you have. You shouldn't be getting out for free all the time, but that's how it is right now, because people are super cool with each other, and there's like this whole friendly thing going on where it's like you meet up with somebody at a extraction point, they're probably not going to shoot you. They're probably just like, yo, I'm just trying to get out, which I'm cool with. But like, if somebody were to shoot me, because the one guy, I was lunching today, I ran in and I saw the guy, and then I thought he was gonna go push the button, and I was just standing there chilling with my gun. I didn't even have my gun out, and then he just shot me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I started, going into, I need to pull my stuff together, and I started trying to shoot him, and then he downed me, and he went and pushed the button. He didn't thirst me. But I'm sitting there like salty that I lost the fight, and I didn't crawl onto the lift. And then I ended up having to crawl all the way around to the other side of the lift to press the button. And by the time the lift got there and started opening the doors, I was dead. So if I had just crawled onto the lift while he was pressing a button, I would have extracted with all the stuff that I had. But I wasn't thinking. That was my mistake, because I'm not used to having to think that way, because I don't usually get in fights with people in solo. So I don't want to, I'm mad that I got so comfortable that I got to break out of this now. It's kind of crazy. PvE players also have more to lose. When they die, they lose their gear and progress tied to in-round quests, while PvP players only lose a free loadout. That's a disparity in risk reward. No, it's not. Because the people who are PvP players, they're not ignoring the freaking, they're not ignoring their missions. They still have to do their missions. You don't lose the progress that you made. Like, say for instance, the only time you lose quote unquote progress is if like you found a thing, right? Like, let's say for instance, you were looking for car batteries, right? and you went in there looking for car batteries. You found 2 car batteries to help upgrade your workbench, right? But now somebody killed you and took those 2 car batteries. Now they got the car batteries to level up their workbench. They still need to get out with it, right? They're not gonna act like they're gonna get out for free. That's the thing with PvP players, is PvE players expect to get out for free. PvP players expect to get out going down fighting, right? They expect to have to fight for what they're holding on them. So if let's say for instance, let's look at it this way, right? If a PvP player, right, has a really like rare gun, they have a pink gun. Let's say they got a bobcat. I haven't even used a bobcat, or a patina. Let's say they got a patina, right? They got a patina on them. They got a combat level 2. They got a combat level 2 bag augment. They got a medium shield on, and they have an anvil, and they have a bunch of ammo, and then they have like a couple of blue things they picked up that they needed for a mission, and then they have like a wolf pack grenade, and then they have their grappling hook, right? The legendary grappling hook. So you got 2 things that they need safe pockets for, right? But they don't have the 2 safe pockets, so they got to choose whether they want their wolf pack grenade in the safe pocket in case they need it for something, or have their grappling hook. And chances are the grappling hook is going to go in the safe pocket all the time, unless they need to use it. Then they use it, put it back in the safe pocket, right? So they have all this stuff on them. They can't risk losing a fight because they wanted to be friendly. Just how you talking about the PvE players, right? The PvE players have a lot to lose because they're doing things for their quests. The PvP players have a lot to lose because they have gear and stuff that they don't want to lose, right? And they're willing to fight for it. If they have to mow through people, they gonna mow through people, take your stuff, add it to what they got, and get out of there. And then they're gonna come in again, and they're gonna keep doing it until they lose a fight. And they don't intend to lose a fight with the amount of stuff that they're carrying with them and how rare it is. Because if they lose the fight, they lose that patina, they lose the wolf pack grenade they had, they lose the things that they have for their missions, they lose just as much as the PvE players do, right? People that are PvP playing PvP and shooting people on site, they're not just loading into matches and just going to go PvP and just go kill people and they're not doing anything else, and they're ignoring everything else. They are also doing missions on top of PvPing people, and they might be able to find their stuff faster because everybody else is scouring the map looking for very specific things for quests, and then the PvP player that is attacking everybody is able to find their stuff for their quests easier because everybody else has already looked for it. Y'all turn into filters. The PvE players that don't want to fight turn into filters, and they turn into pinatas that rain out things that are needed, rather than having to search every corner of the map looking for very specific items. You're going to pick up a lot of good items from people because they've already decided what's valuable to them. And if it's valuable to them, it's probably valuable to somebody else. I don't mind tension. It's part of what makes the game exciting, but the devs need to find a better balance. They have found the best balance that has ever been in any PvEVP shooter. They have found the best balance out of any game that has ever existed that is an extraction shooter. There is no other extraction shooter where you don't have to really worry too much about getting killed on sight in solos. I don't know if you've played any other extraction shooter. Go play any other extraction shooter. Go play other extraction shooters and see how long you last walking around trying to be a PvE player and just running through the map and not worrying about anything and not using your senses, like paying attention, hearing things, and just willy-nilly running through the map and not caring. See how long you last in any other shooter. Go play Tarkov, go play Arena Breakout Infinite. I would say play the Cycle Frontier, but it doesn't exist anymore. Play Dark and Darker. Like any extraction shooter, it's shoot on sight. That is the culture in every other extraction shooter. This game went from shoot on sight in the beta tests and stuff to damn near everybody is friendly and doesn't want to harm anybody and is happy and says hi when you walk past and super neighborly, to being a little more balanced out with people that are killing people, and most of the time you're running into friendly interactions. Most of the time you're gonna run into people that don't want to fight, but now there's a higher chance that there's gonna be somebody you're gonna be fighting. Tonight felt very different than the previous nights that I've been playing. The previous nights that I've been playing, it was like 95% friendly. Tonight, it felt like 60-40. And I was attacking some people too, but like it felt 60-40 on like me having to worry about people attacking me. Because like if I don't shoot first, then they were shooting first. I'm hiding in a corner because I hear somebody coming. They open up the door. I'm peek up over the counter and I'm like, I don't say nothing, and they shoot. The very first interaction tonight that I had, I was running out in the open, just prying open car hoods, loud as I don't know what, not caring anything in the world, right? And then I walk past a rock, and from behind the rock, dude pops up, and I'm like, oh, hi there. And he just opens fire, and I'm just like, oh snap. And then all I said to him on mic was, amazing, people are attacking people again. Like I don't know if he took that as like me being sarcastic and me being mad, but I was legitimately happy that people were attacking each other again, because I want some action. I want more tension. There was no tension in the past couple of days in solos. None. That's what makes the extraction shooter, that's what pulls me to the extraction shooter, the tension. If everybody in solos 90% of the time, 95% of the time is friendly, then that means that there is no tension. The only tension is going to be if a Rocketeer sees you. That's pretty much it. If a Rocketeer sees you, or if two wasps see you and you have a level 1 Pharaoh. That's the only way that there's any tension. I need there to be tension between players, because that's what it's PvEVP, not PvEV friend, not player versus environment versus your buddies. Like you're not even versing them. They're just your buddies. If this is meant to be a PvE game, then questing should feel viable. It does feel viable. You know that in all the other games, they have quests too. All the extraction shooter games have quests, and you have to go do certain things, find a certain amount of stuff, extract with a certain amount of loot, or do certain quests, go do certain things at certain places. Other extraction shooters have questing. That is what makes people go out into the world. That is what makes it not a team deathmatch. That's what makes it not a battle royale. Because you have the ability to get into the map, get around, do your quests, try not to be seen, right? And get out with the stuff that you've gotten. But if you get seen and somebody attacks you, there's always the risk when you go into the map with what you have, there's a chance that you lose it. That is how you're supposed to gear your character before you go into a map. You make a plan for what you're trying to do, you gear for that plan, and you try to execute on that plan. Now, your plan could be just go in looking for random loot, or looking for loot for specific level up your workbenches, or doing the main quests, or making up a quest, making up a quest for yourself, like making up little activities for you to do that you find fun. Maybe you don't like do anything specific and you're just like, I'm just going to go into the map. I'm just going to go loot stuff, and anything I loot, I'm just going to sell it and just stack money. Right? And if you wanted to do that, that's fine. Go in with a free loadout. Get as much stuff as you can. Try to get out, right? If you get out, sell that stuff. Replace your bag augment with a regular augment so that you can get your safe pocket. You go back in with the same stuff you had, so you're not really worried about losing anything because it's a free loadout. You didn't use any of your resources, right? It's the resources that they gave to you for free the last match. And then you traded it, your free bag, for a real bag, so now you have a safe pocket. So if you do come across something that you do want to get out with guaranteed, you put it in your safe pocket. Now if you die, it doesn't matter because you still made progress toward whatever you were trying to do, because you don't want to go in there with this broad thing and try to collect, oh, I want to get all of the things. I want to collect the stuff for this. I want to collect the stuff for this and this all in this one match. Chances are that's not going to happen. But if you want it to happen, you could start offing players, because if you off players, you'll probably find more of the stuff you need faster because the players have already scoured the map for loot. PvPing people is probably the faster way to finish a lot of the leveling and the missions and stuff. But people don't want to play that way. That's fine, but that's also fine. But you can't get mad if there are people that do want to play that way. PvE players should have meaningful tools or systems to give them a fighting chance against PvP players. We already talked about that. I don't understand what this means. I don't know why you think that you don't have meaningful tools or systems that give you a fighting chance against PvP players. You have the same tools that they have. You have shields, you have guns, you have grenades, you have mines, you have smoke grenades, you have the element of surprise, you have darkness that you can use, you have silence, you have decision making, you have routing around the map, like your how you rotate around the map. You have all these different things that you can use, and your knowledge of the map, how to move around the map, depending on how long that the map has been open before you got there. Is it a new map? Is it a map that's getting ready to close? Like, there's so many things that you can think about and use and to decision make your way around having to fight people. You just have to think more and figure out more, and it will be more rewarding. Going into the map, running around and just collecting things and not being aware of your surroundings is not how you play this game, whether you're a PvP player or a PvE player. It's part of the game. You can literally never PvP if you don't want to, and just make sure you have gear that will allow you to make quick exits. Be creative with the tools that you are able to craft and stuff like that. Make sure you got a lot of heals, heavy shields, right? Smoke grenades, adrenaline shots, so that you can be more mobile. The way you have your trees, the way you use your skill trees, the way you build your character out, you know what I'm saying? All of this stuff matters. Getting jumped during extraction or shot in the back mid-quest shouldn't be the only possible outcome. If you're at an extraction point, you can literally call the extraction, run and hide in a bush. If no one's around, because there's definitely many a times where you go up to an extraction and no one's around, or you hear somebody extracting, you run over there, right? You hide in a bush, you wait for them to go into the thing, and you see somebody pressing the button, and then you run as you time it correctly, you run and you dive in as the door is closing. Because they can't turn around, or they don't want to turn around, they don't want to risk turn around, because if you were going to shoot them, you would have shot them before you ran in the door. What? Okay. You would have shot them before you ran in the door. So it doesn't make any, like, you have to, or this is like, there's so many different little strategies about like the extract. First of all, one of the main things that you can do to not is to take a hatch key with you. Take a hatch key with you, and you never have to get jumped to the extract. I'm not gonna say never, because you're gonna have to use the regular extract sometimes. But if you take a hatch key, stick it in your safe pocket when you go, then you try to sneak around and get out. If you got something that you need, then you try to get to that. You put the thing that you really need, you switch it with your safe key, because now you're hedging your bets. You're going, okay, well, if I die on my way to the hatch, I still have the thing that I really need, or the thing that is very, very rare that I want to keep, right? Unless it's a gun, because you can't put that in your safe pocket. And if I lose my hatch key, it's fine, because I still have the thing that I need. Or you can leave your hatch key in your safe pocket because you don't need the thing as much, and you just have a bunch of stuff you want to get out, and you head toward the safe, the hatch. And if you die, you still got the hatch key, so you could try again, because none of the stuff you really needed, you were just going to sell it for money. Or, I mean, that's pretty much those two things are very viable things to do. Or if you're using the regular hatch, right, where it turns sirens on and stuff, you can run up there, hit the button, hide in a bush. Wait for the thing to come up, right? It comes up, doors open, you don't run in immediately. Especially if you hear people around you, or you assume that somebody's going to run up and try to shoot you, or try to do something to you, and they're looking for you. The hatch not going nowhere, right? Just sit in a bush and chill. Nobody knows you're there. Don't move. Don't make noises. Wait for somebody else to run in there and start pressing the button. When the door is about to close, you run and dive in. You can press the button and basically bait people into hitting the button for you. These are meaningful tools and systems that give PvE players a fighting chance. They even let you press the button to call the elevator, and you can even extract when you're downed if you're on the elevator when you're down. So even if somebody shoots you, you go down and then they start pressing the button, you can walk on the elevator and still extract with all of your stuff, even though you lost the fight. So what do you mean that there's no meaningful tools or systems to give a fighting chance versus the people who are PvP players? There's plenty of things. It's just that you haven't thought about how to use the systems and the tools that they give you. Right now, the biggest issue is the lack of counterplay PvE players have against PvP. We just talked about that. I recently got shredded by a level 1 kettle while wearing blue armor. That's because you probably didn't take the first shot. You probably let the guy heal, or if you didn't turn around and shoot him, you probably didn't heal, because if you're wearing a blue shield, right, and knowing how the shields work also helps. If you're wearing a blue shield and dude has a level 1 kettle and he hits you, he's not gonna kill you. I'm almost sure he's not gonna kill you unless he was aiming all at your head. If he was aiming all at your head, maybe you do die, but it has to get rid of all of your shield. That means you probably let him reload. A level 1 kettle with no attachments is 20 shots. With an extended magazine, it's 25, unless they had a green extended mag, and that's 30. So maybe it was 30 and it was a level 1 kettle, but he had a green extended mag on it, and it was 30, and he shot you all in the head, and he shredded down all of your but what were you doing? What were you doing that he was able to get all the shots off on you without you returning fire or taking cover, or him having to reload at all? If he had to reload with a level 1 kettle, or excuse me, you said a kettle with a, if you had to, with the kettle, I think it's less than 20 shots. I was thinking of the Stitcher. With the kettle, I think you probably still would have to reload. And if he had to reload, then you should have pushed him and shot him and taking him down. If you were trading with him and he had to reload and you had a second gun, because I assume that you had 2 guns on you if you had a blue shield, you should have pushed him when he started to have to reload. He would have been reloading. It takes forever to reload that gun at level 1. And that doesn't feel balanced or rewarding after all the time I spent grinding and crafting that gear. You should be more prepared, and I think I talked about this earlier too, how PvP players will attack people because they have very rare gear and guns, and they don't want to risk somebody else killing them, or they don't want to risk losing the fight, so they just attack people. That could be a reason why people attack people, because they don't know what the other person they just saw has. They could try to run past them, and they're just like, oh, you know, I'll just run past. He's not going to bother me. That person turns around, pulls out an LMG, and just shreds them down. And then what? Now all their stuff is gone because they didn't take the first shots, and they thought the guy was going to be cool, and they just walked past him, and they got shot in the back with an LMG, and got all their stuff taken. If they would have shot, then they would have had that LMG. You know what I'm saying? There's so many ways to think about, and there's so many ways to handle the gameplay in this game, that if you just take a minute and really like think about how you can get around the map and think about how you can use the tools that you have, you'll fare a lot better as a PvE only player or a PvP player. Like, I don't know why you think the PvP players have more things available to them than PvE players do. We're all the same players. Y'all are PvP players too. Y'all just don't shoot anybody, or y'all just think that y'all not supposed to. Well, I mean, I don't be wanting to shoot nobody either, but you act as if like no one is supposed to shoot you. Y'all are PvP players too, because everybody is in the same map, everybody's playing the same game, everybody has the same things available to them. How do you think the PvP players got their gear? They didn't get every PvP player didn't get their gear from killing another player. Other players don't just spawn rare loot that they didn't have. They had to earn that stuff. They had to build up to get that stuff. And I'm sure they've had it taken from them many a times. There's a bunch of times that I go into the map and then lose my stuff and be like, well, all right, time to start over. But in this game, you can use a free loadout as many times as you want. But the way to use the free loadout is you start the night with a free loadout. You go in, you loot up a bunch of stuff, try to get out with whatever you got. Sell the stuff that you don't need, keep the things that you did need, and then trade out your bag for a better augment. I've already talked about this too. Trade out your bag for a better augment so you get your safe pocket, go back into the map, or whatever, do whatever you were doing with the better stuff now that you still didn't have to use any of your own resources to create. Go in, do the same thing again, get stuff that you need, stick stuff in your safe pocket that is most valuable. Try to make it out again. If you have to be stealthy and quiet, that might be important to not have to PvP players. Go back in with maybe 2 weapons, right? Or 1 weapon if you feel confident with the 1 weapon that you have, that because you might find another weapon and you want to have a better slot for it to carry it out and be able to use it, right? Then you just keep doing that and you snowball your loot up until you decide, you feel like, dang, I got out like 4 times. I got out like 4 times. This is what I did in trios when we were fighting everybody, right? There was times where I went down and died and I didn't make it out, right? But there were all the times that we did make it out. Like, we made it out like 4 times in a row without dying, while also fighting people. And it was like, all right, now it's time to now it's time to level up your gear, level up your guns, because y'all are on a roll. Level up your guns, use the money and stuff that you've been, and the loot that you've been taking out, to level up your guns, make them stronger, put some attachments on them, get a better bag, maybe a level 2 bag, bring in a better shield, and go do the same thing that y'all was already doing. And then y'all probably will get out again because now you're better equipped. Go in again, get out again. And eventually you'll go in and you'll die. But you'll have snowballed your way all the way to where you were, and you'll have made more money than you lost with the gear that you lost. And then you just either start again with a free loadout, or if you feel confident enough, use some of your own gear, use some of your own resources, and go back into the map and not start from the beginning of the snowball. That's how you can operate to be a better PvE player. It works for both of us, PvP and PvE players. Work on getting better at playing the game as a whole and not just mashing don't shoot when you hear people or see people around you. That's all you gotta do.